The movie starts with Aubrey Argyll, a secret agent, inside a bar on a mission to capture a dangerous terrorist named Lagrange. To trick her, Argyll invites Lagrange to dance, and she, aware of his intentions, agrees until she signals her henchmen to surround him. Calmly, Argyll contacts Kira, his partner hacker, for help. Kira, stationed outside, easily hacks into the bar's security system and fills the room with smoke, allowing Argyll to escape. As he's about to enter Kira's car, Lagrange appears and shoots at them before fleeing on a motorcycle. Although Argyll survives, Kira falls unconscious after being shot by Lagrange, prompting Argyll to call for medical help, which is not responding. At the same time, Argyll's superior orders him to capture Lagrange immediately, compelling him to leave the injured Kira behind and pursue the terrorist. During the chase, Argyll asks the help of his colleague Wyatt to intercept Lagrange. Wyatt successfully captures Lagrange as she rides past a coffee shop where he was relaxing. Following this, Argyll and Wyatt interrogate Lagrange to uncover her boss's identity. To their shock, they learn that Argyll's own superior is the terrorist mastermind they've been after. With her secret exposed, Lagrange consumes cyanide hidden in her necklace, preventing any further investigation by Argyll and Wyatt. Unexpectedly, all of these Argyll scenes are part of a novel written by Ellie Conway, who is currently sharing her 5th novel at a reading event. Following the reading, attendees become even more intrigued about the story's progression, given Ellie's novel's reputation for their realistic plots, some even mirroring the story with real-life events. After the event, Ellie returns home to enjoy time with her pet cat, Alfie, and to continue working on her 5th novel. The next day, Ellie receives feedback from her mother, Ruth Conway, who finds the ending abrupt, prompting Ellie to seek inspiration at her mother's house by train. While aboard the train, Ellie finds herself seated across from Aidan Wilde, a fan of her work, and strange she begins to hallucinate seeing Aidan as Argyll. Amidst her confusion, a fellow passenger approaches her for an autograph, but Aidan, still appearing as Argyll to Ellie, intervenes and fends off attackers. Suddenly, some secret agents target Ellie, and Aidan, claiming to be a fellow agent, attempts to protect her and leads her to another carriage. Carrying Alfie in a bag, Ellie is captivated by Aidan's combat skills as he defends them. Unfortunately, as they were about to move to another carriage, Ellie and Aidan were intercepted by Carlos, along with his henchmen, who had previously attended the Argyll book reading event. Aidan then took Ellie to the door of the last carriage where Carlos and others pointed their guns. Just as she tried to calm Carlos and his henchmen down, Aidan immediately opened the carriage door, deployed the parachute, and took Ellie out of the train before Carlos could attack them. Sometime later, Ellie, who had lost consciousness while in flight with Aidan, eventually regained consciousness in a wooden cabin. Shortly after, Aidan, now clean-shaven, appeared and explained that he had been guarding her for 5 years to shield her from a group of secret agents called the Division, led by a corrupt figure named Ritter. According to Aidan, the Division agents believed Ellie's novels featuring Argyll could foresee future events, prompting their pursuit to extract the next storyline from her. Meanwhile, at the Division's headquarters, Ritter was angry by his deputy director's failure to capture Ellie. He suspected that Ellie's 5th Argyll novel might reveal the whereabouts of a flash drive containing all the evidence against him. Feeling angry over his subordinates' incompetence, Ritter grabbed a long-barreled weapon and fatally shot his deputy director. Meanwhile, after Ellie understood the gravity of the situation, Aidan escorted her to London to meet with a hacker named Bakuman and secure the master data file coveted by Ritter. Along the journey, Aidan revealed that he had arranged to meet Bakuman previously, but the hacker failed to show up. Seeking Ellie's assistance in locating Bakuman through the story of her 5th Argyll novel, because all the events written in her novel were likely to happen. Upon airing at a small airport, Ellie reluctantly joined Aidan on a special secret agent plane, even though she initially refused due to her fear of heights. While on the plane, Aidan tried to calm her down until she finally became calm and could enjoy the flight. Upon arrival in London, Aidan guided Ellie to a meeting with Bakuman in a park, where he urged her to complete the final chapter of her 5th Argyll novel. Ellie then discussed the concluding scene she had wrote, involving Argyll meeting a hacker in London, but struggled to develop the storyline further. Recalling a plot point from her novel, where Argyll used a phone with a tracking chip to contact the hacker. Unfortunately, Aidan had disposed of the phone, and upon hearing this, Ellie became more convinced that Aidan was the character Argyll in the real world. Shortly after, Ellie got an idea to find Bakunan's headquarters by hacking a satellite, and without wasting time, Aidan used his hacking skills until he found the hacker's headquarters location. Unbeknownst to them, some of Ellie's fans appeared to be recording and live streaming their activities, while Ritter had successfully tapped into surveillance cameras in the park, enabling him to track Ellie and Aidan's movements. Returning to Ellie, she accompanied Aidan to Bakunan's Riverside apartment headquarters, where they discovered Bakunan's notebook containing information about the master file hidden beneath the wooden floor in a secret room. At the same time, Ritter ordered his henchmen to raid Bakunan's residence. Aidan, sensing their arrival, guided Ellie to hide beneath the floor until he defeated Ritter's men. However, more troops arrived, forcing Aidan to confront them again, before he and Ellie escaped to the rooftop. With no other escape route, Aidan lowered Ellie's cat onto a tarp roof before they jumped together. They then fled on a speedboat to evade Ritter's hangman pursuit. A few moments later, they both arrived at a hiding place where Ellie, who was in the toilet, saw herself as the figure of Argyll in the mirror, making her feel uncomfortable. When she came out of the toilet, she accidentally overheard a conversation between Aidan and his superior on the phone discussing his intention to kill her. Without hesitation, Ellie immediately fled from the location, and then contacted Ruth through a payphone to ask for help so that she could be freed from Aidan. The next day, Ellie went to the hotel where Ruth was staying after she arrived in London, and shortly after, Ellie's father, who turned out to be Ritter, came to the hotel to meet his daughter. After calming Ellie down, Ritter checked Ellie's belongings and found Bakunan's notebook. At the same time, Aidan broke into the hotel while pointing his pistol at Ritter, who finally admitted that he was not Ellie's biological father. Meanwhile, Ruth, whose real name was Dr. Margaret Vogler, suddenly took Ellie hostage because Margaret was Ritter's subordinate who intentionally used her hypnotic abilities to deceive Ellie. Shocked by these revelations, Ellie watched as Aidan, aiming to rescue her, shot Margaret and Ritter before he took Ellie to escape, forgetting to bring Alfie along. In the middle of the journey, Aidan explained that he had no ill intentions towards Ellie. On the contrary, he intended to protect her. Upon reaching a headquarters located in France, Aidan introduced his superior named Alfred Solomon, who was a former deputy director of the CIA. Shortly after, Alfred informed that Ellie's real name was Rachel Kyle, who had once been the best special agent in his team, and the character Argyll written by her was imagination of herself. Ellie seemed unable to believe this until when she was with Aidan. He threw a punch that she managed to block. He then recounted that 5 years ago, Ellie suffered amnesia due to an accident while on a mission to retrieve the master file from Bakunin. Unfortunately, when Ellie was hospitalized, Ritt and Margaret found her first, so they lied by claiming to be Ellie's parents and brainwashed her with Margaret's hypnotic techniques. During her time in the hospital, Ritter and Margaret continuously indoctrinated Ellie to tell them about the missing master file. When that approach failed, they both lied, saying that Ellie was a novel writer in hopes that she would write stories about her past memories. Since then, Ellie began to write down all the memories in her subconscious and created various characters that matched her and the people around her. At that time, she wrote Argyll as a portrayal of herself, Aidan as the character Wyatt, Kira inspired by Ellie's deceased colleague, while Alfie came from Alfred's nickname. During the conversation, Alfred called them both to inform that the master file they were looking for was detected to be in the Arabian Peninsula and was being kept by an informant named Saba al-Badr. Alfred then asked Ellie to use her real identity as Rachel and carry out the mission with Aidan to retrieve the file. After a long journey, Ellie and Aidan finally reached Saba's headquarters. While waiting for Saba, Aidan asked Ellie to dance, claiming they were once lovers. Ellie started recalling memories with Aidan until Saba's guard interrupted, saying Ellie had to meet Saba alone. Reluctantly, Ellie went in and identified herself as Rachel, prompting Saba handed over the master file. Ellie then examined the file and was quite surprised by the data she saw, but when she met Aiden to inquire about the data she had just seen, Carlos and Margaret, who apparently survived Aiden's shots by wearing bulletproof vests, came to meet them. Margaret invited Ellie and Aiden to have tea together while negotiating for Ellie to reveal the master file data and to remember everything that happened to her in the past. At that moment, she recalled the incident when she met Bakunin to retrieve the master file and ended up killing him because he refused to surrender it peacefully. Since then, Ellie had been listed as a secret agent under Ritter's command. Aiden, who just learned about this, didn't seem to believe about it and attempted to attack Margaret and Carlos until he suddenly passed out, followed by Margaret and Ellie as Carlos had secretly put sleeping pills into the tea they drank. When Ellie woke up, she found herself at the division headquarters where Ritter, surviving Aiden's shots, demanded Alfred's location. Ellie, unaware due to her unconsciousness during the journey, pretended to agree. In the interrogation room, she asked Aiden, who resisted betraying Alfred, but she then took a pistol and shot him instead. Everyone was shocked, unaware that Ellie did it intentionally so that Ritter would think she was on his side. Ellie even pretended not to care when Ritter threatened to kill Alfie if she didn't comply with his orders. On the other hand, Aiden seemed to start regaining consciousness as Ellie intentionally shot him in non-vital parts of his body. Aiden then eliminated the division agents who tried to recapture him and went to a room to inject adrenaline fluid to help him survive longer with gunshot wounds on his body. Meanwhile, Ellie appeared to pretend to track Alfred's headquarters and was secretly sending all the master file data to Aiden's superior. After Ritter and Margaret found out, they tried to stop Ellie's actions, but with Ellie's martial arts skills as a secret agent managed to defeat the two top figures of the division and took Alfie to the weapons room. Unexpectedly, Aiden was also in the room and expressed his frustration to her. Ellie tried to explain that she was still on Aiden's side and had to shoot him to deceive Ritter. After understanding Ellie's intentions, Aiden then worked with her to eliminate all of Ritter's henchmen, who were now surrounding them outside the weapons room. Using colorful smoke bombs, they slaughtered all of Ritter's troops while dancing and performing beautiful acrobatic moves until Ellie urged Aiden to escape through the ventilation shaft as more forces kept arriving. They entered a room where Ellie spilled engine oil to slow down Ritter's forces. Despite this, they had to confront more henchmen to escape the division headquarters. Ellie then attached knives to her shoes to glide on the oil and fight the henchmen. She even defeated Carlos, allowing them to rush to the control room to send the file to Alfred. However, Ritter, still alive, appeared, aiming his rifle at them. Fortunately, Alfie attacked Ritter, giving Aiden the opportunity to eliminate him. Unfortunately, Ritter's eyes were damaged by Ellie's beloved cat's attack, although Ellie and Aiden needed him to access the computer and complete the file transfer. With this situation, they were forced to leave the room to find another way. As they escaped, they were surprised to discover the division headquarters was on a ship. Ellie swiftly continued the file transfer using the ship's satellite. At the same time, Margaret regained consciousness, arrived with a mind-controlling music box, commanding Ellie to stop the transfer and eliminate Aiden. Knowing this, Aiden evaded Ellie's attacks while ensuring the transfer continued. Reluctant to fight Ellie, Aiden nearly gave up until Kira intervened, hitting Margaret with a wrench. Ellie was astonished to see Kira alive, explaining that she survived Lagrange's shot. Shortly after, Ellie completed the file transfer to Alfred and left the ship with Aiden, Kira, and Alfie using a speedboat. They also blew up the division's headquarters. Sometime later, Ellie chose to return to writing and finished her 5th book. At a reading event for her novel, she explained that Argyll had finally escaped from the division's pursuit. Alfred received an award from the CIA, while Kira decided to work in the field of technology. At the end of the queue and a session, Ellie saw a long-haired man whose face resembled the character Argyll she had been writing about. In the final scene of the film, it showed a young Argyll working as a barista at a coffee shop and being approached by a middle-aged man who handed him a pistol. Unexpectedly, the man turned out to be a member of the Kingsman spy organization who wanted to recruit Argyll as one of their agents. Moral lesson from the story: always check your tea for sleeping pills before joining secret meetings, because you might end up betraying your friends and fighting evil masterminds in colorful smoke-filled rooms while wearing knives on your shoes.